And good morning, everyone. Welcome to This Day. Hope you all had a nice 4th of July. It was great weather. I'll tell you about the hot weather coming up in just, starting tomorrow. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. On our show today, our Financial Services Director, Betty Parker, is here, and she's going to talk about the budgeting process and the upcoming budget meetings, which really start up. Well, they started up, honestly, in, I think it was April and May. But we are right in the middle of the budget season right now, and she'll bring you an update on that. Also, Joan Milliman is here today to talk about Robert's Rules and one of the rules that are very important. And Fran Conroy from the Old Pros is here, going to tell us about what's going on with them and an upcoming presentation performance that is, it's not until September, but she'll give us a heads up about that. As far as meetings go today, there are a couple. Third has their landscape, and that's at 9 o'clock in the boardroom. And then the docent tour is at 1 o'clock. And remember, you have to RSVP for the docent tour, so please call 268-2040, or you may email at docent@vmsinc.org. Now, let's get to the weather. And today is really kind of like that transition day. Now, first of all, yesterday, you probably noticed on the 4th of July, it was definitely warmer than, it was probably warmer by 3-4 degrees yesterday, and that fog just started to subside a little bit quicker. Well, today we're starting that high pressure system going up, and I'll tell you about that. It's going to be 90 degrees today, or pretty close to 90 degrees. Then as we go forward, you can see we are going to be in the hundreds for the next couple days, and moving on to Sunday, still very hot at 95, and then getting back down on Monday to 87. Now, to tell you what's going on here very quickly, there's a high pressure system, believe it or not. It's off, the center of it is right now off the coast of Portland, which is unusual. Huge high pressure system. The northern part is touching Alaska, the southern part is reaching us. Along with that, there's a lot of tropical moisture off the coast of Mexico. So as that high pressure system begins to move southwest, and that tropical moisture system starts to go northwest, we are going to get these very high temperatures, very high for this time of the year, and we're going to get humidity as well. So starting probably Sunday, Monday, and into next week, there are going to be first high heat warnings today, tomorrow, and Saturday, and possibly Sunday. But there's also in the mountains and deserts, particularly high deserts, they have potential of flash floods and some thunderstorms for several days, starting up probably on Sunday into next week. So a lot of weather coming our way, and the monsoonal part is pretty normal, but this super high pressure is not. Temperatures are all up today, as you can see. Look at Palm Springs at 112 today. They'll probably reach closer to about on probably tomorrow and Saturday, 116. Some predictions are even possibly close to 120 in certain areas around Palm Springs in that area. So it's going to be very hot. Again, extreme heat warnings really beginning today, but more so on Friday and Saturday. So please keep that in mind. All right. Well, hope you all had a good 4th of July. And of course, yesterday, the Recreation Department Director Brian Gruner had a chance to talk with some residents at the 2nd Annual Village 4th of July celebration. Also, throughout the show today, we'll bring you clips of that great celebration yesterday. And we're going to show you that segment now with Brian Gruner.
Welcome, Laguna Woods Village residents. So yesterday we're here at our 2nd annual 4th of July event, right here in a beautiful Clubhouse 2 at the Village Greens Garden Park area. And we have the very unique opportunity to interview and talk to a family of 4 generations. So I would like to see what brought them out here, why they're here, and how is it so enjoyable for you guys?
Well, we had our grandchildren are here. My son and his wife are here. They came all the way from Hollywood area. This is just perfect for the children. Here's my wife, Jody.
Hi.
And we are just having a blast. And of course, we have the younger one, Mrs. Sadell Graham.
Hello, Sadell. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's so much fun today.
So you're having a great time here.
Oh, wonderful.
That is great.
wonderful.
That is
Oh,
great. Well, that is exactly why we're out here. We want to bring families together. We want to bring the grandchildren bonding with their grandparents and bring the whole family out. So I'm going to ask the little one a question. Are you having fun?
Yes.
Real loud.
Real loud. Real loud.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, I heard it. Do you want to say? Are you having fun here?
Yes.
All right. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming out. Have a great time.
All right.
Enjoy it. And it's going to be spectacular. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was painless.
All right. We're here with Stephen here at the 4th of July event in Laguna Woods Village. Stephen, how are you doing? How are you enjoying the event so far?
I am feeling no pain.
That is good. You're supposed to be here, have fun, have a good time.
That's right.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
That's right. I actually feel that a couple margaritas make me feel just in the right mood. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here.
Good. And what brought you out here in the first place? Was it
I
just
just
the
like-
amount of people, or?
Yeah, I like to see my friends. I've lived here 2.5 years. I just like to see who's here and touch base with them. Maybe have a couple of dances with some gal pals and just have fun.
Great. And you brought you're here with your friends right now?
Well, I'm actually here by myself. I have friends spotted over the area here, but I'll see them as the dancing goes on. It was a little hot before, but once the band starts, I'll be out there cutting the rug.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
We're
Brian.
glad you're here.
Me too. Bye-bye.
I'm here with Kristen at our second annual Laguna Woods 4th of July event. Kristen, are you having a great time?
I'm having a fabulous time.
So what brought you out here having a fabulous time?
Well, we moved here about 3 years ago. We're kind of the young ones. And we just started getting involved, and this is my 4th of July, and it's just a wonderful time, and we love it.
Great. What other activities do you do here in the village?
We go to a lot of the dances. We're involved with the Baby Boomer Club, and then I just started pickleball. We still work, so we're not as involved as everyone, but we just love it. They have activities all the time, and concerts and movie night. It's just super cool.
Right. Well, my motto is, if you're bored here, there's something wrong with you. Because there's so much to do, and it's just a fabulous community. So we really want to make sure we let people know about our events and programs. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm here with
Barbara, Lori, Karen.
Giselle.
and you guys are having an amazing time, right?
Oh yeah, you kidding? This is awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming down and enjoying the event.
Great party. Thank you, Brian. Hey, Brian. Superstar. My name is Karen. I live in the village. These are my beautiful children and grandchildren. This is Trevor. How old is Trevor? 6 months. And this is June. She's 9 months. My daughter Kristen. My daughter Laura. My son-in-law Luke. My husband Bob. My granddaughter June. Julia. I got too many. My granddaughter up here, Josephine, and my son-in-law, Daniel. Happy to be here. God bless America.
Hi, my name is Larry Fresh. This is my little granddaughter, 2-year-old Viola. This is my wife, Betty. We've been here for about 20 years now, and enjoy the 4th of July party very much. Always a lot of fun. Great fun for the kids. It's fantastic. You want to say something?
Yeah, we always enjoy coming over here, and we've enjoyed it more the last 7 years because we have a 7-year-old in the bounce house and the 2-year-old. So it's gotten better over the years with our grandchildren.
Fantastic.
I'm
Jerry, and I live here in Laguna Woods for 14 years. And this is a marvelous group of people. This is my boyfriend, Norm.
Hi, I'm Norm Savage. We're having a great time here tonight. I was down there rocking and rolling. Really good band. The whole evening has been great.
Well, we're here at the Fun Zone, or in the Fun Zone, next to the Bounce House, here at the 4th of July event at the Village Green Garden Park area. And I'm here with a beautiful family, another 4-generation family. What brought you down to this event today?
To celebrate 4th of July with the whole family. It's a nice event. It's a great event for all of us.
Is this the first time you guys are here?
Yes, first time we've been here, yes. We live here. We just moved in December. My mother's lived here for a couple of years, and my daughter has been visiting quite a bit, and my grandson wanted to see what it was about. So we're excited to see the fireworks tonight.
Awesome. Well, this is a spectacular place to see the fireworks. So, are you excited for the fireworks?
Yep.
How did you like the Kid Fun Zone here?
It was pretty fun, but my feet got really dirty at the end.
Oh, they got hurt at the end?
No, they got dirty.
Oh, dirty. Well, what kid complains about dirty feet? You might be the first one. So, well, thank you guys for coming down, enjoying this fantastic event. My name is Brian Gruner. I'm the Recreation and Special Events Director here. If you didn't come down this year, please join us next year. It's an amazing time for the whole family.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Next up.
Do you hear but not understand? I have good news for you. A proprietary system for verifying hearing correction, Verified Best Speech Clarity, is now available through the All-American Hearing Network. This means hearing improvement can now be verified and documented. Your individual hearing correction is guaranteed in writing. Call today to reserve your complimentary private consultation and experience word clarity dialed back into focus on the spot. Try AMP, the world's smallest hearing aid at an unbelievably small price, just $750. It's ready to go in one visit, comfortable to wear, and virtually invisible when worn. Yes, you can now have verified best speech clarity. Hear every word. Call today to reserve your complimentary private consultation and experience word clarity dialed back into focus on the spot, risk-free.
And with me right now is your Financial Services Director, Betty Parker. And Betty, we are right in the middle of budget season. That's what you're going to be talking about today.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Hope you had a great 4th.
I did. Hope you did too.
And we are right in the heat of things for budget, so it's good timing with the weather to heat up.
Yeah.
We've actually been at this for several months, as you mentioned. We started back in March with staff preparing budgets, reviewing with committees and boards at hours and hours of meetings. The board members have spent so much time working on these budgets already and preparing for the eventual release to the community, so they'll know what their proposed assessments are for next year.
All right. And what I was going to ask, did it start earlier than normal this year, or am I wrong about that?
No, we call it March Madness.
Okay, all right.
We kick off our internal staff budget preparations in March, and the committee meetings really are heavy in May. And we go through line items, talk about operating and reserves with a special focus on service levels and programs, what the boards want to do.
Okay, very good. So let's get to the first slide, and the first one is really the budget calendar.
Right. So we have some meetings next week. It's a busy week. We've got a presentation from the CEO on Monday at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom. These are not televised meetings, so we encourage resident participation to come on in and join us. And the CEO will be presenting the proposed budget in its entirety, and then we'll break off into these corporate specific meetings, starting with GRF on Wednesday, United on Thursday, and Third Mutual on Friday. And that's when they're going to look at the entire business plan, not just the programs and service levels, but also the reserve contributions and where they're at with the bottom line.
Okay. All right. And of course, as we get to August, those are the ones that are televised.
Yes. So we'll turn around another version of the budget, make any changes that are requested next week, and present that to the community at these televised meetings in August on the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
All right. And then in September, at the regular board meetings, that is really when they are revised, or they're revised a little bit between August and September, tweaked sometimes, but that in September is the final resolution, and by then it's like this is it.
Then the budget's approved, right?
Yes.
So we get approval at the regular board meetings in September.
Yes.
The budget by then is just watered down to a resolution.
Yeah.
And we're not in the details of the numbers, but those resolutions will be put in the corporate record, and then we'll prepare all the materials that go out to residents so they know what their new assessment amount will be.
All right, very good. And speaking of assessment, we're going to look at the next slide here, average basic assessment, that shows this. And there's a pie chart. So if you would, you can talk about that.
This is a little pie chart just to give you a visual representation of the average assessment. Obviously, it varies by unit and is specific to where you live, but the average community-wide is $600 a month.
Okay.
And so this chart, we just wanted to show you that most of the assessment is going into reserve contributions, maintenance, and landscape programs, and utilities. Because the anyone who lives in an HOA, I live in an HOA, you have two questions each year, right? You want to know, what is my assessment going to be? What am I paying for? And so this just helps visually remind everyone that there is a big focus on the maintenance programs, the landscape services, and security, recreation. They're all getting their share of the pie, so that we can meet those expected service levels.
All right. And then you have a 10-year staffing budget, right?
Right.
And full-time equivalents. So tell us about this.
The largest piece of the budget in a service organization is wages.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of in-house staff for the programs here. We don't outsource. The only things we outsource are the bigger programs like roof replacements and asphalt work.
Right.
And so we have what we call full-time equivalents. Even though we have a lot of part-time workers, we water it down to a number that's equal to a full-time equivalent, or one person over the course of the year full-time.
Okay, so that means if you have two part-timers, you're looking at that as one full-time.
One full-time
as far
equivalent.
as these purposes go.
Right.
Okay.
And so you can see over 10 years, the boards have made a concerted effort to control staffing levels to help keep those costs down, but we also have to provide the services that are needed in the community. And so 10 years ago, we were at 764 full-time equivalents. We're below that level now at 741, and that's even with adding a lot of expanded services like the call center and so forth. So doing a good job of controlling those staffing levels, and that's one of the biggest contributors to the budget.
All right, and then you have in this last one here, well, you have one more after this, 30% improvement in fund balances.
Right, so on this slide, I wanted to show what the combined fund balances look like for Laguna Woods Village.
Okay.
Now, obviously, each corporation has their own business plan and their own reserve balances, but I combined them here just so that you could see an overall community view of where we've gone in the last 10 years, from 55 million to 72 million. Now, the goal isn't to set aside a bunch of money and just have it sitting in reserves. Obviously, this money is actively purposed for upcoming major repair replacement of the components that the mutuals and GF are responsible for. And so you want to make sure that your assessment is balanced between operating and reserves, that you're looking at the bottom line, and having responsible cost controls, but also we want to pay attention to these reserves and make sure that we are setting aside money for the future needs and not having to come upon some big unexpected expenses, and that's a means of controlling those assessments.
So these reserves, just to clarify, you kind of know down the line what they're more than likely going to go for. Is that what you're saying? Versus maybe something comes up totally unexpected.
Well, a good example is a roof.
Okay.
Let's say a roof has a 16-year life. You don't want to wait till year 15 to figure out how much that roof is going to cost, and if you have enough money for it, right? So if you're very disciplined, you would put aside 1/16 of the cost of that roof each year into a savings account, what we call a reserve account, and have that money available so that not only is the money available, but everybody who has lived under that roof for 16 years has contributed a share of the cost of replacement. And it's not just the unlucky person who owns a unit at year 16 that has to pay for the full cost of that component. So that's the purpose of reserves, is to look ahead, to plan, and to spread the cost over the life of an asset.
Okay, let me ask you another term that sometimes is brought up, contingency funds. How does that relate in, I guess I should say, how does that compare to reserve fund? Is contingency, is that a fund you put stuff aside for unknown?
So a lot of HOAs will have their operating budget, and at the bottom they'll add a line that says contingency. So they'll just have an operating budgetary line item for contingencies or miscellaneous, and we don't do that here because of the size of Laguna Woods Village. We actually set aside funds into a contingency fund and not in the operating budget. And so if something comes up during the year that is unexpected, that would have normally been paid for out of operations, so let's say Edison raises the rates on electricity much more than we expected, or it's a really hot year and we're using electricity more than anticipated, and we go over budget in operations, we can pull money out of that contingency fund. There's no restrictions on a contingency fund. It's not required by civil code, but it's good financial planning here for Laguna Woods Village due to the size of the operation.
All right. And finally, you sent us a slide, Consumer Price Index, and kind of explain this. I know people hear about this all the time, especially if, like a lot of people in this community, they are on Social Security, so they kind of pay attention to that CPI.
Right. We're preparing budgets for a community that is, most of which is on a fixed income, and so they're very concerned about how these assessments relate to the cost of living and how costs are rising. So I just wanted to point out that last year we were enjoying some low inflationary numbers, hovering between 2 and 2.5% while we prepared the budgets last year. And as you can see on this chart, CPI has been growing since summer of last year, and we're already up at 4%. So it's just something we have to keep in mind, acknowledging that materials cost more money, labor costs are driven up and by the market forces. And sometimes that's these items are out of our control, so we have to keep that in mind when we're preparing the budgets.
All right, very good. We really appreciate the update and giving us the schedule. And as Betty pointed out, in August is when we televise those budget meetings for United, Third, and of course GRF. If you live over in the towers, they have their own budget meeting over there. So that will televise, but beforehand there's still a lot of work to be done. And now these are the ones in July that are coming up that you have listed here, July 9th and all. Those are open meetings but not televised, am I correct?
Right, all the budget meetings are open, very transparent. We encourage resident participation. If you want to know why something's being done or why it's not being done, why you're having to pay so much in your assessment, come on in and get educated.
All right, very good. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You take care, and we'll be right back.
Keep around. And back. And up and down. Keep around. Right. Take it back.
My My name is Angela. I'm 51 years old and I was diagnosed with a heart murmur. Before the surgery, I was struggling to breathe. I was missing out a lot on playing with my son. I decided to go to Hoag from Nevada to have my mitral valve repair because the surgeons there are excellent.
My personal approach to patient care is really taking care of a patient as if they were a member of my family.
After the surgery, I can chase him and run around and play with him as much as he wants. It's like a miracle. It's like this patient made it through the toughest time in their life, and it's an awesome feeling.
The feeling to see these patients recover, especially when they're critically ill like that, it's just the best feeling in the world.
We wanted this to be one of the top cardiovascular centers in the region, the state, the nation, and to be recognized for that. We've achieved that.
If I had to go back and make the same choice, I would choose Hoag again. They treated me like family. This changed my life, and now I get to be with my son.
Before the next earthquake, take 30 seconds to refresh your memory about these important disaster preparedness tips. Make a family emergency plan. Decide how you'll get in touch with each other, where you'll go, and what you'll do in an emergency. Build a disaster supply kit with enough water, food, and emergency supplies to last at least 3 days. It's important to have disaster supply kits for work, cars, and pets too. Find and fix items in your home that might hurt someone by moving, breaking, or falling during an earthquake. Know how to react safely when the ground shakes. If you're inside, stay there. Remember to drop, cover, and hold on. Drop down onto your hands and knees and cover your head and neck with your arms to protect yourself from falling objects. If you can move safely, crawl under a sturdy desk or table and hold on to one of the legs until the shaking stops. After an earthquake, help people who are hurt or trapped. Call 911 for emergencies only. Check your home for damage, including gas or water leaks, damaged wiring, or downed power lines. Protect your family and your home by making a plan, building a kit, and practicing disaster drills at least twice a year. Be sure to visit readyoc.org for more information on emergency preparedness and alertoc.com to sign up for emergency alerts and notifications. We want you to be prepared for a disaster just as much as you do.
And Joan Milliman is with me today, talking about Robert's Rules, and in this case, the subsidiary motions. And I'm going to mention this because I don't think, sometimes I update a slide that has your next meeting on it. And since I just got this today,
Sorry.
That's okay. I didn't update the timing of your next meeting. I kind of knew when it was, but I will tell everybody it's going to be coming up on July 14th.
At 9 o'clock in the morning?
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
Towers.
Yeah, so I don't have a slide showing your upcoming meeting.
Oh, fine. Okay, well, we'll mention it.
I wanted to mention that beforehand. Okay. All right, let's talk about this now.
Oh, boy. Well, last month we were talking about subsidiary motions, and there are 3 of them that seem to be doing the same thing, and that is to postpone or to delay the vote. And the first one is to postpone indefinitely. The second is to postpone to a definite time, and third is to lay on the table. Mm-hmm. And there's always some confusion as to which one to use.
Yeah.
They have things in common. They all require a second.
Okay.
And they all have a majority vote. And beyond that, they're different. Postpone indefinitely is a motion that's used rarely, but it's intended to kill a motion, at least for that session.
Okay.
So that it can't be voted upon or debated. But it has to be inserted right after the main motion is stated.
Okay.
So you say, I move to postpone this motion indefinitely, and then there's a debate on it as to why you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't always happen. Some people get tricky, and but there should be a debate as to why this motion's no good, and then there will be a vote.
All right.
If it's voted pro, then that debate, that question is off the docket. It can't be brought up. And in theory, you think it would be gone. Well, it's not, but many people don't realize that it could be brought up at the next meeting either to amend it or to some way change it so it would be more acceptable.
Okay.
For example. And the next one, to postpone to a definite time, is the one that's most used. It requires a second, and there is a debate as to whether it should be done at all, and then you can amend the time.
Okay.
But that's the only amendment that could be put in this. We use it all the time on our resolutions. We always delay the resolution for 30 days.
Okay, all right.
And so that's the definite time.
Okay.
And it can be taken up then. It could be delayed right then in the meeting if there's something pending that you need to, like a speaker is come in and let's delay it until after the speaker's finished. Very simple.
Yeah, that's been done many times. Okay. And then the final one is to lay on the table.
That's a tricky one. Often that's used in place of to delay to a definite time, and that's a mistake. Because when you lay something on the table, you're just laying it aside while something else takes place, and then you have to bring it off the table.
Okay.
I know this sounds similar, but it's not the same. And because it's not debatable or amendable. Okay. Whereas the motion to postpone indefinitely is both. And it's the most fair of all. So if you lay something on the table, sometimes it's a little tricky to take it off the table. The problem is, when do you take it off the table? You can't take it off the table until the main business of the next meeting is finished.
Okay.
For example. Or if you are taking it off the table within the same meeting, you may not be able to take it off at the exact time you say.
Okay.
But that's all right. I mean, and as long as it's followed that way, that's fine. But some people use it in place of to postpone indefinitely.
Okay.
Thinking that it's stopping everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Okay.
And sometimes it will require a 2/3 vote instead of a majority vote to take it back out of order. It's a strange motion. Don't recommend it. But
okay.
It's used in conventions quite often. So.
All right. Does that, like when somebody says we want to table this, is that the same thing?
That's the same thing.
Okay.
So if you table the motion, that means you've put the motion on the table. And in the old days, there literally was a table where the secretary sat, and you put it in the hands of the secretary. That's what it means.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add to these?
Well, boy, I'll tell you, there's a whole lot of stuff to add, but I'm not going to do that.
All right.
I checked it out with the big book, Robert's Rules, and they just go on and on and on about the exception to this and that and so on. But the most commonly used of these three motions is to postpone definitely.
Okay.
So to give a time as to when the motion can be brought back.
All right.
And the problem with the first motion indefinitely is it doesn't give a time. There's no way, well, there is a way to bring it back, but not during that meeting.
Yeah.
And the third one is a little complicated to bring back. So that's it.
All right, very good. And again, I want to mention that their next meeting will be Saturday, July 14th, 9 o'clock at the Towers. If you would like to join them, you are welcome to do so.
Right. We hope everybody will come and have fun, because we're going to discuss this time.
Okay.
And we sometimes get into your own problems of parliamentary procedure. In fact, we very definitely get into your own problems. And sometimes the problems are solved.
All right.
Quite often they are.
Very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in. And again, you know, if you are a president of a club or involved in a club in some way, this is for you, because this is going to be very helpful, these type of meetings.
And we forget, you know, if we've learned Robert's Rules as a teenager, for example, and you were in student council.
That's
then,
right.
You know, that may have been your last contact.
That's
so
right.
Maybe you'd like to brush up.
All right, good to see you.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, I'm going to say happy belated 4th.
Yeah, and this is Happy Bastille Day.
All right, there you go. We'll be right back.
That's right, they call him Mr. Soul Train, Garrett. Let's hear it for Garrett, our professional dance instructor. As if the fireworks weren't enough, we learned 2 great dances.
Did you know that we are living longer, healthier lives than ever before? And did you know that social interaction, brain stimulation, and exercise improve your quality of life? Did you know the Saddleback College Emeritus Institute offers 200 tuition-free classes to older adults in South Orange County? With over 30-plus locations between Lake Forest and San Clemente, it has never been easier to take advantage of your third act of life. Sign up today.
Welcome to the Towers. As president of our association, I'd like to tell you about life here. Membership includes nightly open menu dinners, weekly housekeeping, on-call maintenance, and a range of on-site activities. Join our community of active, independent seniors. It's elevated living in a hotel-style environment. Visit us at towers@lagunawoodsvillage.com.
Come discover what makes South County Lexus different.
The expectation of the customer is a history of the business doing things a certain way, and we do it completely different.
Tell us about the car buying process.
Very clear, very transparent, no haggling.
They do some extra stuff that their dealers they do on a normal basis, so I feel very good, and that makes a big difference.
At South County Lexus,
They really are different.
just like you.
Welcome back. With me right now from the Old Pros is, well, somebody I think you've seen here many times, both on our trading post, and she used to be our makeup person and still is the makeup person for the Old Pros, am I right?
Oh, yeah, for the Old Pros.
Fran is with me today. And Fran, you are kind of like the spokesperson for the Old Pros right now?
Yeah,
you
Sheila
kind of got
called
roped
me.
into that. And
Sheila called me and says, well, would you go and talk about the Old Pros?
So, all right. Well, we're glad you're here today. And although there are no meetings coming up, you are having, there's a presentation coming up at really the end of the summer, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's before the end of the summer. We're dark July and August.
Okay.
There's no club meetings, but that doesn't mean that we're not doing things.
Right.
And they are so busy right now. Our next general meeting will be the 13th of September. And that's Thursday at 4 o'clock at Clubhouse 7. And they're doing a mesmerizing, fictionalized presentation of the Comfort Women. And
Never heard of that.
Basically, it's, as I said, fictionalized. They, it happens during World War II. Japanese have captured 5 European women and are using them as relaxation women. And it's a 2-act play, and it's directed by Sheila Balkoff. And it is in 2 acts, I know, and it is it's really good. A lot of people haven't. 2 acts. One is the background of the European women, and then the second act is what goes on when they become the relaxation women for the Japanese soldiers. So it's our general meeting, so membership, the membership people, whoever paid their membership is free, and it's $3 for the rest of the guests.
So
and the
this
wine
is
bar
not
flows.
on stage, this is
done.
done.
No, it's in Clubhouse 7, it's a reading presentation.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
every month we have different presentations, and then of course we have our fall show, which will be in November this year. It has yet to be announced, but November is a big show in Clubhouse 3. But besides that, we have Shakespeare on the Patio again. And that's going to be Saturday and Sunday, September 15th and 16th at Clubhouse 1. So save the date for that if you're a Shakespearean fan. Last year it was phenomenal. Everybody commented on the fact that we did little vignettes from different romance, tragedies, comedies. We're going to do it again, but we're increasing the presentation. We're going to have dancing and music. We're going to have minstrels walking around. And last year was sold out. Everybody brought dinner, and we sat out on patio 1. And it was very good. And this year it should be even better. And they're really working hard on that.
Great. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. But the biggest thing that's going on, and the most exciting, and I just heard about this, is they're going to be doing one-act plays starting in September. And it's going to be a husband and wife situation, how they handle different things. It's like a George Burns, Gracie Allen, Lucy and Ricky. And it'll show one day, I'm not sure which day it is, they haven't told me. It'll show one day during the month, will be the original showing, and then it'll be every week that month, the same show. And they have 5 or 6 that they're working on, so it's going to go on for a few months. And they're excited about it, and it's something new. So the old pros are getting involved in a lot more than just the theater at Clubhouse 3, and they always have. But we're expanding, and we're hoping that people out there that really want to become members come down, see what we're doing, and if you really enjoy it, join the club, because it's really very stimulating. It really
a lot of fun, and as you can see, they do many different types of things.
Oh, yeah.
Not just, obviously they do a couple big productions throughout the year and that sort of thing, but they do many things as well.
Yeah, and we're always welcome to new members. If you want to learn something, we have some of the best people in the field that have retired here, and they're only too eager to teach. So come on down. It's Clubhouse 3, the second Thursday of the month. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're out usually by 6 o'clock, so it doesn't interfere with your dinner. Wine bar's always open, and everybody's always welcome.
All right, very good. Good to see you again.
All right. It's great seeing you,
I love
Ken.
seeing Fran. We see her. We see you pretty often. You come in and sub with the Trading Post and all.
I enjoy that so much.
I know.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
At Universal Carpet for all your flooring needs. Now get 50% off pet stain resistant and hyperallergenic carpet, porcelain tile, wood, laminate, and waterproof flooring, and complete kitchen and bath remodels. Plus get 5-year 0% financing, including free installation and free furniture removal. Our convenient showrooms are just minutes away in Irvine and Huntington Beach, or call 866-402-2747 for our free in-home shopping service. Universal Carpet, the low price leader for over 20 years.
Managing your own medication can be stressful. For decades, we have watched you stand in line at your local pharmacy and battle with insurance companies, all to be left with the difficult task of organizing, managing, and remembering to take your medication. Ameri Pharma offers a new way of simplifying the lives of you and your loved ones.
In previous years, I didn't require any prescriptions, but now I have to take about 7 or 8 due to various conditions. It's a management problem. My nurse told me about Ameri Pharma's Med Box. I switched over. Boy, am I glad I did. It's really easy to use and it's solved all my problems.
Get your medications delivered to your door. You'll receive your pre-sorted med box that easily allows you to tear and take the required medication regimen at the plainly printed date and time. Ameri Pharma Med Box, the new standard in medication management.
Imagine a life. Now imagine this life belongs to someone you care about. Someone you love. Your spouse, your parent, your child, best friend, sister, coworker, or neighbor. Of course, you'd want the best life imaginable for them. A life with caring, meaningful relationships. The chance to succeed in school, fulfilling, challenging work, and a rewarding career. In short, you'd want them to have a long and happy life. Now imagine there was something keeping them from these things. Something that prevented it from happening. Something invisible, powerful, and often overwhelming. The good news is people can and do get better. With treatment and support, up to 90% of people with mental health challenges report a better quality of life. The bad news is most people who need help don't seek help. Why? Stigma. Stigma is the brick wall. Stigma is the fear of being quickly labeled and having people judge and form opinions about you before they actually know you. Stigma can keep a person from seeking help and living the life they deserve. So what's the solution? Honesty. Because honesty is stigma's weak spot. When we speak honestly and openly about mental health, stigma loses its power. Honesty breaks down barriers and removes obstacles, so people may seek help sooner. Families and friends will understand how to help and support. Schools become more accepting and understanding. Businesses place a person's value where value should be placed. And people understand and reach out to others. Because a simple thing like honesty creates a culture where one thing doesn't define someone. It's just one small part of what makes a person, well, a person. Each Mind Matters is California's mental health movement dedicated to creating and fostering open and honest conversations about mental health that break down the barriers of stigma. By increasing awareness of mental health, change happens all around us. Families and friends learn how to help the ones they love. Systems and services adapt so assistance is readily available if needed. Communities recognize the importance of mental health. In fact, 80% of people believe that recovery from mental illness is possible, and more people are willing to socialize, work with, and live in neighborhoods with people with mental health issues than just a year ago. But your support and investment is vital to keep the movement moving, to reduce mental health stigma and enable people we love to live the lives they deserve.
I'm Under Sheriff Don Barnes with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and I have some important information that I'd like to share with you. If an emergency vehicle like a police car, fire engine, or ambulance are driving with their lights and siren on, it is responding to an emergency. Our ability to respond safely and quickly depends on you and the actions you take to help us. Remember, the person we're responding to help may be your friend or loved one, and we can't help them if we cannot get there. Here is Deputy Walewa to tell you what you should do when an emergency vehicle is responding to an emergency.
Every minute first responders spend on the road is critical time to a person in need waiting for us to arrive. First and most importantly, when you see emergency vehicle lights or hear sirens approaching behind you, safely and carefully pull over to the right side of the road. Today's vehicles are highly soundproof, so if you have music playing loudly or other distractions in the car, it can be difficult to hear sirens. Drive with minimal distractions and keep music at a volume that will enable you to hear emergency vehicles. Remember, other drivers may not be as aware as you are. Use extreme caution when pulling over. Use your indicator and carefully slow down before coming to a complete stop. Never stop in or block an intersection. After coming to a stop, wait until the emergency vehicle has passed you by at least 300 feet before moving safely back into traffic. All drivers are required by law to pull over for emergency vehicles, and failure to do so may result in a citation. If a patrol vehicle is driving behind you with its lights on, the deputy may be pulling you over for a traffic violation. If the deputy drives past you, he or she is responding to an emergency. If they remain behind you, they are pulling you over. If you determine that you are being pulled over, you can acknowledge the deputy by turning on your turn indicator while proceeding safely to a stop. Listen for instructions that may be given by the deputy to ensure that you're in a place that is safe. Once you have stopped, place your car in park and turn off your engine. Roll down your window completely, keep your seatbelt fastened, and place your hands on the steering wheel in plain view. Wait for the deputy to give you directions before reaching for your license, registration, and insurance. Let the deputy know where you will be reaching to retrieve the documents. By following these steps, you can help to promote your safety and the safety of other motorists and emergency personnel. Thank you for your time and for your continued support.
And welcome back. I'm going to tell you about our upcoming movie as I watch Michelle in the background getting her morning coffee. Or if you're watching us later in the day, I guess would be her evening coffee. So I'm going to tell you about our movie Peter Rabbit. Coming up Friday, great family film. This is, of course, based on the classic Beatrix Potter tale of a rebellious rabbit trying to sneak into a farmer's vegetable garden. This one has a little bit more of a twist to it. You know, the beginning, of course, the gentleman does not want Peter Rabbit coming around, but in the end, they're finding out that the cottage and the farm is going to be sold to a developer, so they all come together to kind of save the day. Fun movie, great CGI with this, and fun movie overall, and this will be on Friday. It's only 95 minutes, so short movie, good family film. Peter Rabbit on Friday at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Then our Monday movie is Reese Witherspoon in Home Again. And this is somewhat a little bit of romance, a little bit of comedy. And in this one, she plays a single mom living in Los Angeles and takes an unexpected turn by allowing 3 young guys to move in with her. And from what I understand, I think they're all in the filmmakers. So, you know, comedy ensues, and there's a little romance and all kinds of things going on. Great cast in this, of course, Reese Witherspoon, as you see her there. And fun movie. Very different kind of movie for sure. And this one came out late last year. Also a pretty short movie. It's only about 97 minutes. So those are upcoming movies for Friday and Saturday. And I think also, I'm trying to see who else is in this. Michael Sheen, he plays the kind of the love interest in this. So there you go. Home Again on Monday. Now, some of our upcoming movies on Fridays, we have Annihilation coming up on the 13th. This is a kind of an action movie, and it's an adventure, drama, action, and horror, all kind of built into one. Here are our Monday movies that will be coming up. Crooked House, and this is based on Agatha Christie's classic novel. So this should be a really fun movie. I mean, anything that she's been a part of, you know, or movies made from her books always are good. And this one is going to have, you know, it's kind of that kind of twist in it, a little bit of mystery, a lot of fun in it. And Max Iron is in this, Stephanie Martini, and Glenn Close is in this. Then we have 7 Days in Entebbe on July 13th. Then from all the way back in 1935, we have James Cagney in A Midsummer's Night Dream. So good movies coming your way. And you know, if you ever got any ideas of movies, let us know. We'll see if we can get them on for you. A lot of them are available, most of them are, but sometimes they're not. There's a few that just never become available because the studios don't want to release them that way, but a lot of them we can get. Certainly a lot of the newer movies we get in fairly quickly. So, all right, the weather. As I've been telling you, we're in for a huge warm-up. We're going to start to see that today. Should reach about 90 degrees today. Even yesterday was warmer than first thought. But then this high-pressure system, huge high-pressure system, is going to expand and looking like we're going to be in the hundreds, 100, 101 or so Friday and Saturday. Sunday probably going down to maybe 95, but extreme heat warning over the next few days. But along with that, we're going to feel some humidity because there's a tropical system that is off Mexico, and that moves in. So the mountains and high deserts will more than likely have thunderstorms coming up on Sunday and Monday and beyond all through next week. Here's our temps for today. Everything's warming up. Palm Springs 112. They're looking at about 115, 116 over the next couple days. All right, we are running out of time, so we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3. Left. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. To the left. To the right. Cha-cha. And around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. Left. And right. Say 1. Oh, cha-cha, sorry.